Morning, everybody. My name's Jared Leary. I've been drumming since 1998, and I still got plenty of stuff to work on. Today, we're working on a spree that just became public this morning. It's the Blue Devils 95 shopping spree. 2 days ago, we worked on Blue Devils 1994 shopping spree. This one's a slight variation of it on the tag at the end. In all of these practice streams, you can actually see what I'm working on to try and continue to improve as somebody who's been drumming for almost 30 years, as well as some of the things that I talk about with the different chats, because I have a monitor that's got multiple different chats up on the other screen over there. Now, I will often edit those responses that I give, talking about how to get better at drumming or how to get better at teaching, because I've also taught every grade, kindergarten through doctoral student. And I will edit those and put them into this drumming tips playlist. It now has over 15 hours of drumming tips for free. All you have to do is just scroll to a title that looks interesting and then check it out. The title's the first thing I talk about. And then if it says, and other drumming tips, that means there's more. For example, drumming tips number 60 talks about how to prepare for performance anxiety. Wow, my tongue just is not working this morning. And then if it says other drumming tips, if you click on the description and see the timestamps, you'll see more things that I talk about. If that is not of interest to you, there might be something that is. But there's over 100 videos and over 15 hours of drumming tips inside of there. Now, I need to get motivated here. Shia LaBeouf is going to help me out. So we're going to hide Shia. Don't worry. He won't let our dreams falter. Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it. Make your dreams come true. Just do it. Some people dream success. Well, you're going to wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not going to stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it. Just, thank you for the like. Do it. Yes, you can. Just do it. He spits right there. I'm not willing to commit to that. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Wow, Shia LaBeouf, I am so ready to work on shopping spree. All right, so if you are on the vertical, the link that's right here, jaredoleary.com/drum. It's also linked at the top of every one of the thousands of play-alongs. It takes you to my website. On my website, /drum, there's over 2,000 free exercises. It might not look like there's a lot of chop exercises here, but there's 77 chop exercises. Like there's, I think, almost 30 inside of this chug variation playlist. Same thing for the shopping sprees. This is where we're going to practice today. There's over 1,000 grid variations. We've got triplet. We've got 16th note. We've got wacky ones like Herta grid. There's a bunch of limb independence exercises. This is where I was practicing yesterday. I'm trying to get through over 50 different ways of playing through limb independence. And we're almost there. We'll get there. There's almost 500 marching bass exercises. I highly recommend focusing on the timing exercises, playing along to those. And then for the splits timing, this one actually simulates playing with other members of the group. So check that out after you've spent some time on the timing stuff. There's a bunch of different drumline cadences in score format. There's almost 400 technique exercises. If you're a rudimental drummer in particular, you should spend a significant portion of your time, at least 50, if not 60% of your time, working on these playlists. To work on your stick control, roll exercises, whatever. And then there's over 15 hours of scripted lessons and drumming tips inside of here. So highly recommend checking this out. It's free. If you see a member's first video, that means it's scheduled to release for free. So stay tuned for more. You have college drumline auditions tomorrow. You feel pretty good about it? If I have any last minute tips for you, for your audition nerves? Actually, under the drumming tips, the very start of the stream, I mentioned this one. So it's drumming tips number 60. So this one right here, how to prepare for performance anxiety. That one has some tips on how to do that. You can literally simulate and practice performance anxiety between now and then. So like every hour at the start of the hour, like simulate it by like jogging in place, getting your heart rate going, and then playing through the packet. Like cold, not warmed up or anything. But outside of the stuff that I recommend in drumming tips number 60 for performance anxiety, I also just recommend just getting some sleep, hydrating yourself, and just doing things to just like calm your brain, your nerves and whatnot, so that way you can go into it and feel better about it. Know that other people are making mistakes, but you're likely not able to hear those mistakes because you are focusing so much on your own playing that you're going to like hyper fixate on it and be like, oh no, I'm the only one making mistakes. Nah, there's like 1,000 mistakes going on all around you. You just can't hear it in that moment because you're too focused on what you're doing. So just play to the line, listen in, and just try and enjoy your time there. But good luck with that. Again, it's drumming tips number 60 for the performance anxiety stuff. You gotta scroll down a bit. We got a lot of drumming tips. Let's warm up. Then we're gonna stretch and massage, and then we're gonna work on Blue Devils 95 shopping spree. Inside here, there's a bunch of shopping sprees. The majority of these are coming out this month. There's like a new one every other day, so stay tuned for that. We're gonna warm up with what? Let's actually warm up with one that I did 2 days ago. So Blue Devils 94. Whoa, that's not the resolution I am looking for. Whoop. In the timestamps of the description, you can jump to any BPM you want. This one goes from 40 all the way up to 200, one click at a time. Since we're just getting our hands going, the blood flowing, let's do, I don't know, 130? Sure. Let me turn up the volume, jam, pump it up. I was late on that. Yeah, those fives feel so slow. I'm a goat. Sweet, last rep. Sweet. Let's stretch and massage now. We got the blood flowing. And then we'll work on Blue Devils 95, which is a variation on that one, so the tag is different. All right, so the first stretch I'm going to do stretches the sides of the forearms. Pull in, push through. Ooh, yeah. You love my playthrough of Alien Isolation? Hey, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. Yeah, I had fun with it. We're going through Dishonored now. We're close to the end of the first game, but I still got the DLC to go through, and then, you know, the second and third game. Now I'm going to stretch the underside of the forearm. So that first one was stretching the side. Now I'm doing the underside. I'm going to go ahead and do it on the pad here. It goes twice as fast as opposed to just doing it like I demonstrated it. You could also do it on the wall. The lower you go, the deeper the stretch. Just don't put all your weight into it. Can you hear what I'm saying with a microphone in my eyeball? I can't play Diddy Toms? What? You mean the Blue Devils exercise, Diddy? They don't play it on Toms, though. I don't know what you're asking. I'm confused. Why are you confusing me? Stop it. You're hurting my brain. I'm tired. I'm stretching the top side of the form. You could also do it like this, by the way. Or if you do it on the wall, the higher you go, the deeper the stretch. And the last stretch is going to go thumb to thumb. And then index to index, middle to middle, etc. So this is just going twice as fast, stretching the fingers on the same finger. And then we'll do a quick massage routine, and after that, we will get back into some shopping sprees. But we're going to go a year forward for the Blue Devils. We're going to go to 1995. It's all the same until the very last line. Do I play for a band or a school or anything? I used to. So, like, I used to, I was in every ensemble in my school except for, like, choir. So I was in every band and orchestra in high school. And I was the first chair for all of them as a percussionist. And then did regional, did all-state band, did different bands in college, different percussion ensembles, etc. I did drum corps, so like this is from the corps that I marched in for a few years. But I've also taught a bunch of different bands, whether it was like I taught elementary band, I taught high school drumline, high school percussion ensemble, I taught college ensembles, a couple of different ensembles at the college setting, a bunch of different stuff, but for like in terms of right now, I just practice for fun. Just enjoy the grind, because I'm grinding for XP, as my shirt says. But the performance like lifestyle does not interest me at all. Like I don't want to be a gigging musician that's like touring. That sounds horrible. I'd rather stay at home and hang out with my wife. Can I teach you the snare drum grip? You mean traditional? Yeah, I got a whole video that's dedicated just to that. Was it school that got me into drums? So actually I vividly remember it. It's weird. So I was driving north on Mill Avenue, about to go on the freeway in Arizona. Why I can remember this, I don't know. The powers of autism. Hey, Luis, welcome. To answer your question real quick about like the traditional grip thing. So if you go into drumming lessons, this is my home tab of YouTube. Go here. And then this one, how to hold traditional grip. Watch that video. Anyways, so we're driving north, and I'm sitting in the back of the van, and I'm listening to Enema of the State by Blink-182, Travis Barker playing on drums. And I just kind of was like, I can hear the drums better than I can hear the vocals. And I pay attention to that more. It might be fun to learn how to play drums. And I just kind of like said that out loud. This was when I was a 7th grader. And my mom was like, oh, okay, we can sign you up for drum lessons. And so I started taking drum lessons. And then I, like the summer before 8th grade, and joined the 8th grade band, and then got into it from that. So I started late compared to a lot of my peers, because like band started 6th grade. Some schools have started 5th grade, etc. And then a lot of people made music before that, but I didn't. So I was terrible when I started. And then I got better because I did this thing called practicing. It's a weird concept. I'll demonstrate it, don't worry. I'll show you all what that's like. The last one that I'm going to do for this is I'm going to massage from base to tip for this. Did I start off with their own full drum set, or did you start with a pad? Oh, start with a pad. Yeah. Pad just to like figure out how do you hit stuff. How do you hold the sticks? What are you supposed to do? I'm confused. Yeah, and then eventually I got a kit, but like drum kit is not my primary. So rudimental, like what I marched was snare drum. So if you actually go to this video that's right here, I went from center snare to in snare twice. So that video actually shows some pictures of like back when I marched. Back in the day. And with what somebody else was asking about, like playing traditional grips. So like that was me playing snare drum. The drum of snare. I think there's another close-up one. Yeah. So there's also me in college. Old. Anyways. All right, cool. So I'm going to go into the home tab. And inside of here, if you scroll down, There's the shopping spree playlist. This one, under the chop section, this one has a bunch of sprees in here. There's 27 videos in here. The one that just released this morning is Blue Devils 95. Don't worry, all these other ones are going to release over in August. So this one comes out in 2 days, 2 days after that, 2 days after that, etc. And each one of these technique streams, I'm just going to work on one. We're going to go into the timestamps. We're going to start at 40. Whee! Again, it starts off very similar to the 94 spree. It's just the ending that's different. By playing it slow, you can really focus on getting a nice relaxed technique. Get those rhythms down. You really only use your pad? I mean, hey, yeah, I hear you. I prefer the rudimental stuff, technique stuff, chop stuff, etc. over drum kit, but I've been having a lot of fun lately working on the limb independent stuff just for fun. But my passion is always drumline first. I've spent less than 1% of my time working on drum kit. Way less than 1%. Like, I played more marimba than I played drum kit. I actually own a marimba, but it's not set up. Anymore, at least. Weird ending, right? So we have the egg beater, 2 of them, and then into this like egg beater with an extra diddle. Interesting change compared to 94. Okay, let's go up by 5s now. So click timestamps in the description. If it ends a BPM with a 0 or a 5, it gives you a little bit of time to get yourself set up, get your sticks, etc. Otherwise, it'll just like immediately tap off. To open. Weird, that transition. It kind of reminds me of a RCC's Mori spree, how it goes into like the 16th note feel, right back into the triplet feel. But we're going a little bit different direction. Whoa, 50. So fast. So furious. So I started playing it at the speed of the 94 version, and I was like, wait, it's faster. So I adjusted. Good story, right? Thanks. I'll be here all day telling stories like that. Yep. It's going to make me go viral. Everyone's going to be like, wow, Jared O'Leary, Dr. Storyteller. That's me. Stay light on your accents. Don't... Just pull back. Especially on these upbeats. Get the height. But don't squeeze. Stay light. The velocity will come as we speeded this up. Right now we're going slow. But use a nice relaxed technique. Now the way that this is written with the accent, the tenuto marking, and then the tap, that's just basically it's like a decrescendo. So as you get to like faster threes, so it's not gonna be like all up or like accent tap tap. It's just gonna be just you're just letting it have that natural decay as you do it faster, okay? But you know, at 55, it doesn't really look that way. We'll get there. 60. Sorry, I shouldn't peck on the tap off. I can hear it. You probably can't. Oops, forgot the accent. I'm sorry. I almost played through the 94 version. Hey, thank you for the sub. I was getting hungry. Get it? Subway sandwich? Not that good. No. Very different. Yeah, that the second part of this, so it's like the 2 egg beaters, but the second part is it still feels weird to me. We'll get there, maybe. Who knows? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just be like, I hate that measure. Only love the rudiments. I have no idea what that rudiment's called though. It's like an extended egg beater. Keep wanting to play the 94 version. Don't. Okay. If you insist. Alright, 75, but first, water. It is out of reach. My wife insists that super stretchy arms is like the most practical superpower. It would have been helpful there. I'll give her that. 1 point for wifey. Thanks for stopping into my ASMR drumming stream where I drink water and play at pianissimo. Well, hello, Bricks. Welcome back. 80. Cheese cheddar toast feels a little weird. Timing on that last line is weird. 85. Here we go. I'm waiting for that like gray area where I'm gonna have to like do it like a controlled rebound. Yeah, staying light on those accents is a key to not dragging on that. Okay, Jared? Okay. High five. Yeah, me. 90. We're almost at triple digits. Yeah. $195. Now, normally if you're like learning something, go up one click at a time. But for these, for August, basically, I'm just going to be going up by 5s, just kind of like giving a sampling of most of these shopping sprees. For some of them, maybe I'll go up by 1s if I'm like, I don't know how to play this. Some of them are weird. Stay tuned. Many more. This one's still fairly basic. They're about to get wacky. Whoa, 100. This is faster than anyone's ever drummed a drum before. Metronomes don't even go that high. A little slow on the singles at the end. Good morning. What are we at? 105. Yeah. Wow. We're going to break the sound barrier with this one. Just going to go. Pew! There's going to be a sonic boom. Don't worry. Everything's anchored down. We'll be safe. Wear a helmet. When I did the rim shot right here, it like right clicked on my other monitor. Oops. Controlling my mouse, one rim shot at a time. Oh no! We gotta do it again. It right-clicked again. It did it again. Right-clicked 4 times on that. You recently got pink eye. I mean, I'm not that kind of doctor. But that sounds like if you still have a fever, like you're likely still contagious and you'll get like everybody sick. It's like a band camp performance is like an important performance and all, but it's like not as important as the ones that are like going to be coming after this. So I personally would just recommend resting up. But again, not that kind of doctor. Don't take medical advice from me just because I'm Dr. O'Leary. It does not mean I know anything about medicals. But yeah, pink eye is super contagious. So I would avoid people. Unless you're like staying super far away from everybody or something and like keeping like a 10-foot distance or something, I would still avoid it. Oh, left hand was late. Fail. But yeah, I mean, missing a performance is okay. I've had many students do that. I've done that. Like, it happens. I got, one year I got pneumonia and I missed like almost like 3 weeks of college. So, it happens. You'll be alright. I left off the 3 on the left. You're welcome. Rest up. If you got a fever, make sure to drink a lot of water. Yeah, so that left, I keep coming in late right here. And I keep forgetting it's a 3, not a 2. That one. It keeps right-clicking. All right, 125. Yay! Whoop. Yes, go sleep. You also have a good day. Appreciate you stopping in. Sleep, then practice. After you've gotten better. Rest is important. Better on the left. Still not great, but, you know. We're just practicing. Just practicing. Have a good one. Appreciate you stopping in again. Still late on that. Stop it. Stop it. Get some help. Okay, I will. I'll slow it down. Not today, though. We're just going to keep going until my arms burst into flames or fall off. One of the two is going to happen. Stay tuned. Mm-hmm. 140. Huh. Ew. I was late. Oh no. Is there an acoustic snare muffling technique? You've been struggling to get your ancient drums to trigger and quiet on the ghost notes. So, acoustic snare drum muffling technique. So one of the things that some people do is I can't really take that off. But they'll take off one of the heads, and then put like pillow or sheets or towels or something inside of the head. You just need to make sure that it. No. So the pillows, the towels inside of it, and then you put the head back on. If it's like pressing up against the head, it's going to muffle it a lot. It will change the amount of rebound and whatnot when doing it. Another thing that some people will do is they'll just take like a towel, and like the more layers you put on top of it, the more it's going to muffle it. The problem is with like a head that has a drum that has two heads rather, is like the bottom head can still ring quite a bit. So you need something on it. There's also, I don't have it in this room, but there's these like little like black muffling pads that are like cut into the shape of the different sizes of heads. And I used to use those before I got these low volume cymbals and the silent stroke heads by Remo, which that's also another option for you. So like if you go to /gear on here and scroll down, the low volume drum heads, they're called the silent stroke by Remo. They're great for just like playing quiet. They're a little bouncier. And then these low volume cymbals are also good. So those are some options for you. There's also, I've got a video that talks about like how you can still practice quietly. So if you go to /drum and then scroll all the way down to here. So this is an older video about how to practice drums quietly. That might give you some tips in there. Like the reason why it's got a doorknob is because it shows how you can like use the doorknob to practice the rotary motion with traditional grip. And that's much quieter than, you know, actually hitting a drum. But yeah, those are some that come to mind. You've been tweaking the sensitivity and velocity settings? Yeah, so the drum triggers are like the ones that I've got, these are not great. No offense to Yamaha, they're good for their price point. But they're like, I have difficulty with it. So like you've seen in the drum kit streams where it's just like, it's not happening. It's not, triggering the low sounds, which is unfortunate. But I mean, in my instance, I kind of am getting what I pay for because they're not like the high end stuff, but they do what they need to. They're just not going to get like the low ghost notes, especially like the super low ghost notes. Even taps it won't get sometimes, or like the second note of a diddle, or it won't get crush strokes or buzzes, etc. But that's just kind of par for the course. It's only when you get the really fancy, expensive like triggers and E-drums and whatnot, then you can do that. You're welcome. Yeah, the ending's still a little rough. That's okay. It's okay. We're just getting a sample in today. If I were to like actually practice this, I'd just go one click at a time. Go slow. How can you get over phases where you feel like you're not improving? Good question, Diego. I'm trying to think. I have some videos that kind of talk a little bit about it, but I don't know if there's any that are specific to that. So one of the things that I do, progress journal. Okay, so this drumming progress journal is one of the ways that I help myself keep track of like how I'm doing over time, so I can actually see progress. So this, when I do the drum kit streams like I did yesterday, it keeps track of like, well, how am I doing on average for like this one? And so if I scroll to the right, you can see all these different BPMs right here, and then how I did on it. Like, was the quality of playing? How did I feel, etc. You can make a journal like this and keep track of like an exercise or a rudiment or whatever. This is a very thorough approach for doing something like that, and you can actually see the growth over time. And then like column A actually will keep track of the average. So for example, when I'm practice tomorrow, I'm practicing the ones that are meh or needs a lot of work, so the ones that are not good yet. And so I can see it over time get better. Like we just graduated from this one yesterday. So it was not good. And then yesterday, the average finally went over to technically proficient. And so I was able to graduate from that. So I'll skip it next time. So something like this can help. But another way that I like to do this is with monthly or quarterly check-ins on your own playing. So what you can do is record yourself now playing through an exercise, work on that for a month, and then record yourself again. And then actually go back and compare the two. Listen to how you were a month ago compared to where you are right now. And you do that every month or every quarter or whatever. And you can like save those recordings so you can go back and hear it and go, hey, actually I have a thing for sharing the journal. I'll show you in a second. Hey, I've made huge progress over time. Like I actually do a life reflection like this every quarter where I assess like, what's my anxiety level? What's like my like happiness level? Like how am I doing with this? And I'm like very like metrically oriented with it, but also using some qualitative data and whatnot. And I record a reflection of like what were some of the big life events that happened and some of the lessons that I learned from that. And then each quarter I go back and review that. And so when I did that last month, I actually went back like 6 years ago of when I started doing this reflections and hearing the stuff that I was like stressing out about in life or the lessons that I learned, or like, hey, this next month I'm going to do this thing, but then like, surprise, Jared, there's this thing called COVID that's going to happen. You're probably not going to do that. So like, that's like a helpful thing for life. But for the drumming thing, going back and listening to your performing over time can really help with actually seeing that progress. It was something that I also did when I taught elementary band. So I recorded them and on their very first time playing through Hot Cross Buns. And then what I ended up doing was on our final concert, I played it for the parents, and it's actually my ringtone. So I'll show it to you. So this is Hot Cross Buns. So Hot Cross Buns. 1 open, 2 open, Hot Cross Buns. And it sounds horrible. And so I would play that at our final concert for the parents. And then we'd play through Hot Cross Buns again, like live, not just that audio recording. It just show like, hey, parents, listen to the amount of growth that we had. This is where we were when we started a while ago. This is where we are now. So that's a really simple way of just being able to show that progress, because when you're in your everyday grind, you're not able to feel that as much as when you are like actually listening back to your like prior performances and whatnot. Like if you do a recital every year, going back and listening to your previous recitals. If you do a solo or an I&E every year, going back and listening to that and go, oh wow, there's a huge improvement. But it's hard to feel that when like every day you're just focusing on the stuff that you need to improve. So Mario, the thing that you were talking about with this. So if you go to, which one is it? Drumming tip number 74. How journaling can help drummers. So this one actually has the a link to it. So the second link in here, when you click, it asks you like, hey, do you want to make a copy of this template? And the template doesn't have like my content in it, but it has like column A that'll automatically keep track of whatever you put in column B, and then it allows you to do that. So the link is the second link that's on here. It's also in the comment. It's the second link that's right here. So just go to this one, and then that will allow you to work on that. So that's, again, drumming tip number 74. And I explained at the beginning of that particular video how this helps me to improve and how I keep track of my playing over time. But it has a link to a template in there. And so you can put whatever you want to work on. If you're working on marimba stuff, cool, you can put marimba stuff. And you can find that under the tips and lessons section on my home tab. You're auditioning for Pacific Crest next season? Yeah, and Diego, that's okay. Like, it takes time, consistent effort. But if you take a look at the drumming lessons playlist, so this one has how to hold traditional grip. This video is like the things that I look for. as somebody who marched traditional but who no longer plays it. That might be able to help out, but just focus on the technique stuff. The drumming tips video that I mentioned to Mario is also just like a helpful thing to take a look at, because there's over 15 hours now of like tips where I've answered questions for people like on, hey, here's what I recommend to get better. Here's how you can practice this. Here's how you can work on your left hand rotation so you can get it back further. So a lot of those have those tips in there for you. Let's go a little bit faster. We haven't completely crashed and burned yet. Stay tuned though. It's going to happen. 155. Hey, you're very welcome. Sorry, there's a huge delay on Instagram. There's like a 40-second delay or something. You've been practicing for over a year now? Yeah, there's sorry, I have a lot of videos. There's a video where I talk about So if we go down into the drumming tips, which one is it? Is it talent? Success? Okay, it might be this one. Let me double check. So the drumming tip 85, why you'll never feel successful of it as a musician. This one, yeah. So actually, it went right to it. So this section up here, what I'm talking about in here is like a lot of people expect this like exponential level of growth with improvement. So like this is time and then skill. So what you expect is like, hey, I should be getting exponentially better, because it's based off of the idea of people who are like, oh, strive for 1% improvement every single day. Okay, well, 1% improvement is technically exponential improvement over a significant period of time. If you are adding, if it's like compounding with it. So what actually ends up happening is it kind of goes like this, where you'll make huge gains, and then over time, the skill's not going to improve that much, and you have to put in more effort to make smaller amounts of incremental improvement over time. And that's normal. That's actually like part of the process, and this is based off of research. Part of when I did my doctorate, one of the things that I studied at the beginning was like skill acquisition and expertise. And so I looked at a lot of research from high performance musicians, high performance athletes, like Olympic level athletes, etc. So like, this is not my opinion. This is literally decades of research that I talk about in this long video, why you'll never feel successful as a musician. But this specific section on here on you'll fail if you strive for 1% improvement, that section specifically talks about that. But there's like other things in here about like the costs of what it actually takes to achieve. This section on what high achievers don't tell you, if I remember it correctly, I'm talking about like different sections of my CV and all the failures that were along the way. So like if you're comparing yourself to like somebody like myself, and you're like, dang, Jared has like a CV that's like stupid long. Like I've got over, I think, 120 presentations. But what it doesn't show you is like all the presentations that didn't make it, or the presentations that didn't do good. And then I got like a dozen publications. Like it doesn't show you the number of rejections that I got from my publications and all the failed edits that I did that finally led to the final draft. Like my dissertation proposal took like 2.5 years or something like that just to do the proposal. And then like it eventually won the highest award possible in the entire field for the dissertation itself. But you don't see all the failures that led to that. So this video might be good for you to just kind of like a perspective shift to help you see that like failure is part of the process. And the hardest part about, one of the hardest parts about like getting better at that like expert level is finding the gains, the incremental gains in here, because it's not going to be this anymore. So this is totally normal, and this is not just my perspective. Again, it's based off of research. I have a weird career that I've been at the higher tiers of both music education, which is where my 3 degrees are in, but then also computer science education, where I've created like 8 figures worth of curricular content and professional development. So the company made like over $10 million because of like the content I made. And so I was speaking with like the top end of computer science educators, and like all of them had this like, I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like I'm an imposter. I feel like the efforts I'm making like aren't getting better. Like you're either like a narcissist who thought you were like God's gift to everything, or you were in the imposter syndrome where you're like, nothing I'm doing is making an improvement. I'm not getting better, etc. But the trick is like, you just got to keep going and got to keep pushing through that and finding ways to stay motivated with it. So this particular video is drumming tip number 85. Again, so it's why you'll never feel successful as a musician. But the one that came out this morning is what do you do when you have no motivation to drum, and how to prevent burnout from practicing. This one might also be useful for you. And that one just came out an hour ago. So yeah, Diego, take a step back from your playing, acknowledge the growth that you've made over time, and then try some of those tips that I recommended with recording yourself. But take a look at those videos. That should hopefully provide some perspective for you to see that this is normal. This is part of the process. You're not a failure for this. It's not like you're broken or something. It just takes time. So you'll get there. But you're asking the right questions and you're seeking help, which tells me, as somebody who's taught every grade kindergarten through doctoral student, one of the things that sets apart students is the quality of the questions they ask and their willingness to be able to implement the advice that is given to them. And because you're asking good questions and you are willing to get feedback from other people, if you are able to implement that stuff, that will set you apart from so many other people who are unable or unwilling or whatever to do that. You are welcome. Yeah, if you need a pep talk, I'm here for you. And I'm not just like blowing smoke or anything. Like I'm just being honest with you. Like this is part of the process. This is normal. You can do it. It just takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, more than people think. Too fast. Okay. This is a fun one. I like it. So next time in 2 days, I'll come back and we'll do Blue Devils 96. I'll give you a preview of what that's going to look like. So this one's going to release. So it starts off the same idea, and then it goes into, this is like the 94 version. So you're playing, and then it goes into like a really weird different tag completely. So we'll do that in 2 days when this one releases publicly. So stay tuned for that. But let's go ahead and chop out with another shopping spree variation. So home tab, scroll down. Inside of the shopping sprees, I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. Again, August is the month of sprees. Every other day there's a new one releasing. So stay tuned. There's a lot. But I'm going to do Velvet Nights 5-4 shopping spree. This is one of my absolute favorites. We're not going to play it at 48. You can go slower too, but we're going to chop out with this one. So I'm going to start off at 100 and we'll go up by fives. So I started right here, I started to play the 95 spree that I was just doing. So, but it's, and then you cheese that. So, whoops, wrong spree, Jared. Oh, okay, thank you. Good to know. All right, let's go by fives. Once my arms burst into flames, then we'll call it, and then I'm gonna get ready for Dishonored. Which maybe we'll finish the main game today. I don't know. One, 10. Click. And if you can play this one fast with me, this one goes as fast as 160. So, you know, chop out as much as you want. Or it goes as slow as 20. However fast you want to go. I got you covered. This might be my breaking point. My hands feel slow today. They need a nap and a snack, maybe some music. 120. Jerm said this in the past. Why do I play match grip? So the very quick rundown of it. My bachelor's, master's, and PhD in music education. During my bachelor's, though, I was on a full ride for percussion performance. And the percussion performance scholarship meant that I had to focus on stuff like Stevens grip, so like 4 mallets, learn Burton's grip for vibraphone, timpani, concert snare, etc. And none of that needed any kind of traditional grip whatsoever. Even though I marched traditional grip on snare drum, so I did a couple years in high school, a couple years in college, and then a few years in drum corps with traditional grip. It was the only place that I played traditional grip. And in 2005, Vanguard, the snare line was switching over to match grip. So for auditions, I had to prepare match grip. And playing through it, I was like, this is just so much more applicable to like everything else I'm doing, all the concert percussion stuff. Like if I'm playing mallets, or if I'm playing snare drum or timpani or whatever, all of that was match grip related. And so as an educator, because my 3 degrees are in music education, the most important thing was like being able to help my students succeed in the long term, to be able to get like the scholarships or to get whatever. So for the people who wanted to learn traditional grip, I could teach it to them how to do it. But for them to be able to like become lifelong musicians, etc., the focus was on match grip, because like it's the only place that I've literally ever used this is marching for snare drum. And if I was teaching on a drum line or teaching a drum line that is gonna insist on using this, I would do it with a tilt, because it just makes more sense, because flat grip makes no sense. But as Thomas Lang said in a video, if like traditional grip was better than match grip, why don't we play double traditional? Mechanically speaking, it is not like the ideal way to play, despite it like looking cool or whatever that like you'll hear some snare drummers play. But because I'm a percussionist, and because I taught percussionists as opposed to snare drummers, match grip is it. And so when I stopped like marching with traditional grip, I just never looked back because it was like, what's the point? Like, why am I gonna? I invested so many hours like on this grip, and now I don't use it because it's just useless. You could play it on drum kit, but it leads to some issues with like moving around on the kit. You're much more limited than with match grip. But it's not like you're gonna play like a xylophone with this. It's not like you're gonna play basically any other instrument with the traditional grip. It just fits a particular style, and it's a visual aesthetic that doesn't really translate over into a functional purpose for me and the kind of music that I make and the kind of students that I was teaching back when I was teaching. So that's my short-ish response to that. But, I mean, like, I did it. It was fine, but, yeah. Would I do it again? I'd probably march tenors again if I were to do that. But snare drum, it's just got a special spot in my heart because of how perfectionist it is. And with my autism, I am very much into that. Let's see if we can play this at 120. Are so slow today. But they didn't burst into flames yet, so we got to go faster. At the end of the practice sessions, I'll chop out like this after like refining my technique and whatnot. This is not the majority of what I do. Whoops. My arms are dead today. It's just one of those days. All right, so this was the Velvet Knights 5/4 spree, but what I was working on was the Blue Devils 95. You can find all of those sprees. If you scroll down on the Home tab, in the chop section, there's 77 different chop exercises. Like there's a bunch of chug variations. We've got cheesy poofs, we got flamus, we got some float drag variations. There's some more back over here. But in the shopping spree, the vast majority of these exercises are all coming out in August. So stay tuned for that. There's like 11 or 12 more for this month. A new one every other day, so stay tuned. But we've also got grid variations. There's over 1,000 of those. Click on the header to show you the playlists. There's more. We've got limb independent stuff. We'll practice that tomorrow. Almost 500 marching bass stuff, some drumline cadences, almost 400 technique exercises, just like the grid variations. You have to click to show all of the playlists. So if you want to work on rolls, go here. Timing, go here. 3s and 4 strokes, go here. Stick control, blah, 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 blah. This is where I recommend spending most of your time practicing, especially if you're a rudimental drummer. And then there's over 15 hours of drumming tips in here from people asking questions, like what we had today. We've got some scripted drum lessons, and then over 400 live streams if you want to see me actually practice stuff. So tomorrow, I'll be working on limb independence on the drum kit, and then we'll do some more Dishonored after that. But speaking of Dishonored, I'm going to call it here. I'll probably start that game in like 15 or 20 or so minutes. We'll see, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoy these thousands of free drumming tips and exercises, just share it with somebody else. And as always, if you don't enjoy these free exercises, then share it with an enemy. But I hope you have a good rest of your day, and goodbye.